Los Angeles is home to thousands of musicians, each struggling to make headway in an overcrowded music market. One company puts some of these determined musicians to work as movers on their downtime. That company is Real Rock and Roll Movers, and this is Real Rock and Roll.
I used to be in a touring band. We would go and tour in Europe all the time, and we were doing well enough that you're signing autographs and you're playing these big shows with crowds and everyone's, adores you, and then you come back and you're like, well, what am I going to do for money, So that's how the whole thing kind of started for us, was just you needed something flexible. So we just started advertising ourselves on Craigslist as movers, and that's where it started, and now here's where we are at.
It's a better life than a starving artist, as opposed to waiting for every gig. You can work this job, even though a lot of times it can be extremely brutal. You could work this job and not starve and pay your bills, and because everyone has to fucking pay bills.
Your focus is the music, but whatever, if it's a 3-hour or fucking 12-hour job, you just do it. Can you imagine, if you have a 9 to 5? I mean, how can you do things, really? A 9 to 5 sucks.
I've kind of been living at the bare minimum of the musical dream there, couch surfing and stuff like that.
Real Rock and Roll, this is Melanie. We actually have some guys coming in this morning who were playing in San Diego last night. So they're supposed to be here at 9:30. We'll see what happens.
I know Jesse didn't go to bed until 4 a.m. last night, or this morning, and he's in here at 9. Yeah, how you feeling?
Tired. Got back at 2 in the morning.
There's certain guys that I'm kind of like, make sure you're here at this time, and it's usually a little bit earlier than they need to be here.
I'm always on time,
Always sitting here mic'd up, and you're outside smoking a cigarette. He gets there at least.
I didn't know about the time.
Minimum,
is any time existing?
Minimum half an hour later than he's supposed to. That's what happens. Robo time.
I mean, even if you're on tour, you got to get up to get to the next city. That's part of the rock and roll professional thing.
Bye. Have a wonderful day.
So today we've got 4 jobs, 1 big job for a customer that we've worked for a bunch of times, who's really cool, and then a couple other new customers, and it's gonna be busy, but it's supposed to be hot today too.
I'm Jesse Magnuson. My role here at Real Rock and Roll Movers, I'm a driver. Mover some days when some shifts need to be covered. I'm in Queen Caveats. We've been around about 3 years now, and we're just getting out of the studio for our 3rd record. I grew up in Hudson, New Hampshire, up in the Northeast, and I've always played drums. I come from a family of drummers. My father's a drummer, and was gigging out, every night in the 80s.
Yeah, just keep going straight there.
I come from a very working background in New England. You wake up at 7, you go to work, you come home. It's like, whereas out here, it's like, I got work at noon, I'm gonna go for a hike and then grab some coffee with a friend, and I gotta go to work. Whereas back there, you work, that's what you do. So it's nice because you appreciate the stuff that you get a lot more, Yeah, just 2 guys today. It's normally 2-man crews unless shit's crazy, A lot of stairs, long walks, or, a ton of shit. It's like some people are like, oh, I'm stoked to be off tour so I can go home and sleep in my bed, but I don't have a bed or a home out here really. I just kind of crash around. I'm sleeping on love seats and couches and floors. And then you're on tour and you're sleeping even worse, like in vans and people's floors and places you don't really want to sleep every night when you're tired and exhausted from being on the road. So it's kind of the same for me, only I really kind of don't need to worry about anything on the road because you're on the road. It's sleeping in a van, driving, playing shows, you know what you have to do to get by. Whereas out here, you kind of have to hustle a bit more. So where am I staying tonight? I got rehearsal till this time, who's around? That kind of shit. It's I'll stay at the rehearsal space.
It's like you're transitioning from one aspect of your life to another aspect, and it's not, if it's sprinkled in there, then it's kind of easy to, you're playing shows and you're working and you're playing shows and you're working. But if you go away for a 3-month tour and you're not working, and it's a totally different life, and you're in the van, and your life is so set up in such a way when you're on the road. So probably anything different, when anyone gets home, it's kind of culture shock. And there's the post-tour depression. That's what everybody says when you get off the road. No matter what you're doing, you get home, you don't know what to do with yourself.
If you're in music and you want to stay in music, depending on what you want to do, you got to move to the hubs of like Nashville, New York, Austin, LA, like that, those kind of scenes. And I moved out here 3 years ago, this past February, and I assure you it is not the easiest thing. It's something that you have to be passionate about. It's very hard, but I love to do it. So.
Should we keep on holding on, or should we
I mean, if you're making a paycheck from playing original music in front of decent-sized audiences, like, you don't have to be famous to be successful. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of bands out there that play to 2,000 people every night, but they're not huge mega pop stars or rock stars or whatever, but they do it 300 days a year and they make money and they get to do what they want, travel, and not have to work a mover's job.
I've been realizing recently that Spotify is the epitome at this point of people no longer making money off selling their music, except back-end stuff. But for the most part, I mean, I think the bands, when they're out, they make enough money to probably get through that period and maybe pay their first month's rent.
Right now, it's all do-it-yourself for the most part. We've got a few licensing things, but non-exclusive stuff. Yeah, everyone can do it on their own home recording. Promote, screen print your own shirts, just copy your own CDs or digital download cards. Go to your shows and do everything yourself. But it is nice to have a little help, and some money would be nice.
A lot of drummers, and I think when I got hired, me and Scott actually talked about that, about how so many drummers work here because they have to load the most gear and they have to set up the most stuff, and they're usually carrying the majority of the gear.
There's a lot of stuff to be responsible for as a drummer, equipment-wise, and then that kind of translates well to dealing with all the stuff you have to move here.
Me and Robo here are in the band Fine. I am the drummer. My name is David Diaz, or here in the company, I'm known as Triple D. That's Robo.
Hi, I'm Robo. I guess I'm a Polish guy. I'm from Poland originally, and I'm a guitar player.
We both drive trucks, but I started off as a mover and then became a driver.
And you kind of like around the show. You show up and you're like,
you're like the foreman for the move, and you got to drive the truck and pack the truck.
So it's kind of up to you. You show up and people are most of the people are cool actually, but you gotta say oh, we're doing this right now, and that's a call. You're making a call. You know what I mean?
Okay, so the bed and the desk and these boxes need to be towards the front, but it's a 10 by 20 storage unit. So
let's do boxes first. I'm gonna back.
I'm playing a lot of projects, so I'm playing right now 3 to 5 times a week at least, on top of rehearsals, and I teach, and then I do this. So sleep, it doesn't come very often.
Any musician in Los Angeles especially learns is you have multiple things that you do, and whatever one presents an opportunity to work first to make money, then you do it.
I'm doing this bunch of other bands too. Sometimes I'm doing this like a GNR tribute band, which is always fun. So you can just go crazy on it, playing these cool tunes you grew up on.
Besides the actual Slash in Hollywood, Robo is the other one. Robo's the other side.
Yeah, they call it Blonde Slash too.
Everyone here is a serious musician, which is also a great part of it. Like the environment and the people you meet are all in the same position in life that you are.
I didn't start doing this because I wanted to start a moving company. I started it because I was a broke musician, and then I decided that I wanted to help other broke musicians getting opportunities to make money when it's becoming increasingly harder to do so.
I mean, we played a couple shows and then we started recording. So it was like the recording process has just been slow because we're doing everything ourselves. We're paying for it, we're finding the people, we're finding the cheapest studio time possible, and when you don't have the money, it takes more time. That's just how it goes.
Oh, you know I've had a strange run. I got beat up. And out of one hit that I took on the side of this shit made me dumb.
We work our asses off. I mean, we'll do 12, 14-hour days.
And then still go to rehearsals.
Yeah, go to rehearsal, go to a show. But it's not, it's not work. That's not work, even though it may seem like it. Going to the rehearsal for me or going to a show, it's like I decompress there, Even though there's more energy spent, it's like, for me, it's therapeutic. At the end of the day, I'm like, I get to go fucking play. Yeah.
Yep.
Anybody that's working here is doing something serious with their music, because they're not going to be in some kind of half-assed band that's just playing, every once in a while and work a job like this, because it's really hard work. I mean, there's definitely an ego that comes with being a musician, but I try to avoid the really entitled people, because when you're moving, you can't have an ego about it. You've got to, you're working for someone. So you can have your time on stage, and that's when your ego can kind of come out, and that's when you can express yourself.
It's not stable. It's never stable, ever, at all. So having this keeps you grounded a little bit, helps you kind of be a normal human being while pursuing a full-blown music career, So in that sense, that's really, the main reason why we work this job.
Let's roll for Poland.
A lot of people don't pursue their passions. They're afraid to. And that's, again, like coming back to the company, one of the beautiful things is everyone here is taking that risk. And you feel it, you work with these guys and you're like, yeah, you're risking everything you have to make your dream come true.
So the same energy that I think gets them where they want to be with their music is the same energy that pushes them to do a good job here.
You get like those like real cute chicks, that like never worked a real job. They're still in school, going to acting school or something. Their parents are rich and they have a fucking Land Rover and they're like living in this dope ass condo and they've never paid for shit. They never had a job and you're just like, oh man, good luck. You're gonna get your ass beat out here.